Okay, Stranger Things season 4. I like the season. Um, my thoughts about the show going into it. I actually thought Stranger Things, and I still think Hot Take did it to a degree, that is on a decline in terms of its writing quality. Um, but I also recognize that I've a, I don't want to say nostalgic. I don't know the right term. There's a certain love I have for the first two seasons, especially season 1. That is very close to my heart and very, very emotionally attached to those seasons. So I remember season 3 coming out and not liking it at all, or at least broadly speaking. But I still was a fan. I think the show is one of the strongest written shows on television at the moment in the times we live in. And the same thing I like about the past 3 seasons is the thing that I like the most about this season. I love the team dynamics. That's the thing I'll say first about season 4. Almost everyone feels very useful. And if they don't feel useful, then you at least get moments with them that remind you of their value, even if it's something here or there. The newer characters, Eddie, Robin, um, characters that were not part of the original gang, but have become kind of part of the mold. So Erica, Lucas's sister, trying to think of some other people that come to mind. I'm losing it, boy. Everyone, there was a character who, by the way, full spoilers. There was a character who, what was his name? Argyle. Yeah, it's kind of like the doofus kind of weed head dude. Even he had a use. By the end of season 4, volume 2, the last 2 episodes. But yeah, he was the little comedic relief that the show had, which to me the show doesn't even need that, because personally I'm just someone who's kind of trying to grow over and wean off of more the mainstream fantasy. I don't want to say the names of the people I'm thinking of. I just can do without quippy stuff and stuff that makes light of like more serious topics and genres and storytelling. The best parts of the show, like I said, is the same thing that I like about seasons 1 to 3, the team dynamics. As far as characters go, I've mentioned some people already. Out of the original boys, that's Mike, Will, Dustin, and Lucas. Who do I like the most out of them? Probably Dustin. But again, that goes back to bias about the first 3 seasons, where there's something very lovable to me about Dustin. He's always been my favorite out of the 4 boys. Has he? I think in season 1 I was a fan of Lucas and Dustin. And Mike. I really liked Mike in season 1. But it's because he reminded me of Elliot from E.T. Elliot, is that his name? No, boy, the main character from E.T. And I liked his relationship with 11 in season 1, which actually brings me to a flaw. One of the things that I just don't buy about season 4, and it's something that, again, if you've seen the last 2 episodes, volume 2, season 4, they stress in the finale, is the connection between Mike and Will. I truly think that is a teenage phase that they confuse for love. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but the way they have a certain moment in the climax of the finale that is meant to be like her lifeline, and they even like stress explicitly, no, Mike, keep talking to her, you're the heart. I'm just saying, what is it just me? I feel like those two are phased. The is burning hot young love, but not long term. To me, I don't see it in the cards for them. I wish they would understand that and go on personal journeys or find other people that I think represent the next phase of their life. I don't think that at that moment. There's other couples who I feel like are more low key, better for each other, whether they're together or not. Um, hot take, another hot take, and slash criticism. Even though Robin's character is a lesbian, I feel like she and Steve, she deserves someone like him more than Steve deserves to be with someone like Nancy again. Even though, again, Steve has matured so much, he is possibly top five characters for me in this show. Him, 11, Hopper. I have to think about it. I have to think. Dustin. I have to think about it. Boy, oh boy. There's a couple of people. Yeah, it's clearly not top five. But yeah, even though Steve has become so much more mature since the end of season one, he didn't go down the typical bully route that he was. I remember in the beginning of this series. The implication that him and Nancy, like, there's something in the cast again is, I don't know, is there's little things here and there that aren't big. I'm nitpicking, to be honest. There's little things here and there that just feel like they don't completely. That it doesn't make sense for that character, but it feels like it's because I've become so close to that character, Steve, Dustin, 11, Hopper, that some things just make more sense for me with their character and some things don't. But yeah, the things I'm mentioning about relationships and stuff like that, they're criticisms, but they're more nitpicks, to be honest with you. Now, to get to my proper critiques, my biggest critique of all of the season, I say, there's one big thing broken down into two. Death doesn't mean too much. Death is meaningless. That bothers me a lot. The only person to properly die in this series, in this season, is obviously Eddie Munson, the new characters introduced. And notice the pattern. Season 1, Bob dies. Season 2, Bob dies. Sean Astin. Joyce's, Winona Ryder's boyfriend in season 2. Season 3, Billy dies. Season 4, Eddie. All of these characters, what do they have in common? They are side characters to the point where they're just part of the tapestry that is Stranger Things, right? Is main character syndrome. I call it that. And that's one of the things, like, I need characters to actually die. Hot take again, possibly. Maybe you guys will disagree. I feel like Hopper should have died in season 3 and he stayed dead to raise the stakes of the season. But I also feel like Max, in this season especially, should have died. Imagine the tragic death that would have been, as opposed to what is implied, in my opinion, I think will happen in season 5, where she'll be in that coma most likely all season or for part of that season. And I think the Duffer Brothers won't go all the way 360 with it and just reverse her blindness and her paralysis completely. She won't go completely back to normal. But let's say she wakes up out of that coma and she's permanently blind from it still, or she's paralyzed permanently, but she's alive. She's okay. They save her. I don't want Max. I love Max so much as a character. I'd rather she just be dead than to suffer like that. Respectfully to people who think that Max is more useful alive than not. I don't. I feel like you're allowed to admit that a character is important and has value to you, whilst also admitting that sometimes the natural conclusion is for the character the life to end in something, the journey to stop. And this to me would have been a great place. Same thing with Jim in season 3, in my opinion. which is, I guess, more of a hot take. Even though I liked what they did with him in season four, I liked his arc and him realizing that, oh, people need me, but I need other people in my life. I need those emotional anchors to remind me that I'm not just a piece of garbage, that my dad wasn't right to dismiss me, that the war crimes in Vietnam that I went through were so and so, like that I'm more than those things. I accept that and accept again, David Harbour is a great in this role and always has been. He's always been one of my favorites. I feel like he should have died. Which brings me to my other kind of is still part of the same thing that death is meaningless. But my other big critique, Vecna. Vecna in the Upside Down. I'm not sure the stakes. I don't completely understand the stakes when it comes to this character. Is he the ultimate boss? Because not just his power set of being like a former number one, like 11, but the fact that this dude, by fusing his consciousness with the Upside Down, has now become this being, this Vecna. Is Dustin's theory really true that he's the top general of this Upside Down, or is it more closer to this? By binding his consciousness with the Upside Down, with the Mind Flare, he has become the ultimate boss. He's not the general of the army. He is the face. He is the army itself. He is the overall, the alpha and omega. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, the god of the Upside Down. He's not the general. He's the god. Because if he is, even the way they did the fake out by taking him out in the end of season 4, it just feels wrong. Like the fact that at the end of it, 11 and him were just throwing each other back and forth with mind control. No, that's wrong. Vecna was supposed to represent his upgrades in power. Like fucking, sorry for cussing, like freaking Perfect Cell or Frieza in Dragon Ball Z. Stage 1 Cell is the flashback when 11's young in the lab and she's fighting Henry Krill / number 1. That's stage 1. Stage 2/3 Perfect Cell, that's Vecna. It should have been a lot harder, in my opinion, to take him out. And even though they did the Michael Myers fake out, it still feels meaningless. It goes back to the thing about what is the true nature of the Upside Down? Is he the Upside Down itself? Is he like the true god boss of it? Or is he like Dustin said, the general of the army? I feel like I still don't completely understand the stakes. And I hope season 5, instead of just being Supernatural Red Dawn, shout out to that movie, Fire, classic. Instead of just being that, it finds a way to make proper sense of it. Because obviously, at the end of the day, from what I understand, Dungeons and Dragons characters aren't exactly like the creatures in Upside Down, the Demodogs, the Demogorgon, the Mind Flare. They have distinct uses in that game compared to the roles of certain creatures and things from the Upside Down. It just doesn't make complete sense. Like Vecna's power, why he's a threat exactly. If 11 can just, I don't know. At least it feels like the fact that it did end on a cliffhanger it was just expected. Like this was the Empire Strikes Back, of Stranger Things. But it didn't feel, I don't know, it just felt too easy. It felt too easy. Like the final confrontation in Upside Down with Vecna. Maybe it's just me. I'm not the biggest fan of how things went. But broadly speaking, I did like season 4 Stranger Things. It brought me back into thinking that, this show is a good show. It isn't just that there's like A grade writing here and there. So that's it. Those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think down below. Did you like the season? Did you not like the season? Are you somewhere in between? Are you looking forward to season 5? What are your predictions? Oh, lastly, I forgot. I have a theory about Steve and also possibly Eddie in for season 5. I think one of them, more likely Eddie, but I thought at one point Steve. The same way that Will was affected and has always been affected by the Upside Down, to the point where being back in Hawkins, he can still feel the presence of Vecna and the Mind Flare. Like on the back of his neck, you see him touch his neck, like, oh fuck. I do not buy for 1 second that Steven being bitten by all those bats, or Robbie being bitten by all those bats, will just ends that way. No. I think season 5, as far as one of those two characters, is going to probably emulate maybe the Wolfman, where Vecna's ace in the hole is him infecting parts of the group, the group, the Hawkins group, right? And someone is gonna go against the main group from inside the group and do some damage. And I think it's gonna be either Steve or a resurrected Rob. Did I say Robbie? Eddie. I think I called him Robbie at some point. A resurrected Eddie. And that'll be a nice way to bring him back also. Shout out to Eddie's character. I liked him a lot in the season. I agree, he's like a young Robert Downey Jr. Those are my thoughts. Yeah, let me know what are your thoughts on what season 5 is going to bring, and your thoughts on season 4. Other than that, guys, like, comment, and subscribe for more. Salute.